Men, I owe you an apology. At first, I was scratching my head trying to figure out where everyone's freaking out on me. Not everyone, about half of you. But anyway, the thing is I did not properly define vulnerability to you guys. I just assumed that you knew. I did call it a strength. What vulnerability is not being a simp, as some of you guys thought that I was saying. A simp is, I had to look it up, but the slang is that for a man who's going to bend to the will of his partner, or be like act desperate and needy and clingy and just do whatever his partner says. Hell no. That's not what vulnerability is. That is weakness. Vulnerability is actually strength. Brene Brown does some excellent TED Talks on this, and she's got even a Netflix show about vulnerability. And what it is being your real self straight from the beginning. You are exposing yourself, so that's what it is to be vulnerable. You're exposing yourself at the risk of being rejected. So what vulnerability is not, I'll get into that first. It's not crying all the time and being pouty and or just being too agreeable or being a people pleaser. Opposite, opposite. So what vulnerability actually is sh- from the very first date. There's no games. You're being yourself, and you're understanding that the person that you're dating, no matter how attracted you are to them, they might not like you. They might not like certain personality traits or certain hobbies or things like that, and you're okay with it. You're okay with exposing yourself, stepping outside of the box, and you're okay with that rejection. Do you see how that's a strength? Um, a weakness would be to play games, act like you love everything she loves, right? Things like that. That is a weakness. Like when you're just telling a girl what she wants to hear so she likes you. That's being weak. Okay. Being vulnerable is that authentic. You're being yourself and you're really okay even if this girl doesn't like everything about you, or you're okay with it because when you're yourself, you want to eliminate straight away the people who aren't a good match for you. So you're not wasting anybody's time. I've said this in many videos. So that's vulnerability. And like, for instance, I'm very vulnerable every day. Every time I do a video, I'm putting myself out there. I talk about my addiction to alcohol, my food addiction. I talk about my weaknesses. But do you think that am not standing in my power? I'm completely standing in my power. What would be weak is if I really gave a shit about what your guys' opinion about my addiction. I know who I am. I know I'm a strong person. I overcame my addictions. And weakness would be not sharing and hiding my true self. So that's vulnerability. And I hope that makes sense. And also, guys, I do want you to know that I understand if I didn't make it clear last time. And ladies, if you're listening, you're the huge part of the problem. Any woman who is making fun of a man for being vulnerable or being authentic or process, like let's say that you did cry. I'm not saying it's bad to cry. You don't want to, like, by the way, let's make this clear. When I'm saying vulnerability, I'm not talking about crying all the time. Okay? I had a couple guys think like, no, no, I don't want women out there on a first date being emotionally too much and throwing out all of their issues and using their date as a therapist. No, 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 no. That's not vulnerability. That's weird. Don't do that. Okay? So showing your feelings is being vulnerable, being real, but that doesn't mean I want you crying all the time and pouting when you don't get your way. That's something completely different. It's not vulnerability. Okay? So hopefully we got that set. Also, the high quality thing, I'm not ever going to use that again because it's so misunderstood. A lot of you men were saying high value, high value. And so value, this is just me. This is my definition. Well, it's a lot of people's, but don't argue with me because this is a fact. Value is what you place on other people or on an object. Value is something that is more superficial, surface level. Okay, so the value of something like a high value man, some women, not me, but what some women would say would be someone who is very good looking and makes a lot of money. Okay, character's not even involved. When I say high quality, I'm not talking about those superficial things. What I'm talking about is characteristics. Characteristics, okay? So having good character. So we're throwing out the word quality, high quality, and I'm only going to say good character because I think it's too confusing because there's too many dating coaches saying high value and they're referring to something completely different than I'm referring to. Um, I'm asking you guys to kind of have a growth mindset about this and look for character above other things. Because if you're not focusing on someone's character, then you're going to actually be really disappointed and they're going to be making fun of your vulnerabilities. So that's why you're falling into this trap is you might be picking women for superficial reasons. And then you're mad that they're not kind. Well, look for kindness. Look for self-awareness. Look for people who have done work on themselves and they're not going to make fun of you because that is not a kind person. That is not the character that you want in a woman. And again, you can have your beautiful, youthful women. Just make sure they also have a good character. Okay? So don't only focus on looks or things that are superficial. The chemistry thing is great. You can look for that. Just understand that that chemistry sometimes is a red flag because it's sometimes when you have ultra strong chemistry with somebody, what's really going on is you're feeling that familiar feeling from past toxic relationships. So it's your subconscious mind remembering, right? Because we get kind of addicted to that those chemicals in our brains. Um, you're in a chemical haze. You're feeling like those toxic relationships always come with a lot of drama, a lot of passion, right? So there's an addictive component. So sometimes when you start out feeling a lot of chemistry for someone, that's the reason why. Not always, not always, okay? But I'm just telling you that to be mindful of it. Just think about that. And, for any ladies listening, I really hope that you can listen to these men. I believe them 100% that some of y'all are just hardcore on men who are being vulnerable, who are being real with you, and maybe using their vulnerabilities against them. And ladies, before you say it, I already know it's happening. It's happened to me too. I've had men do it to me. This isn't a male female thing. This is a manipulation tactic where I've had men like not allow me to be show my feelings without being called dramatic or negative or too emotional or too sensitive, right? So it happens both ways, okay, guys? Like it's not only women doing that. And I think this is a manipulation tactic that both genders use against each other when they are trying to usually get the other person to bend to their will is what's going on. They're trying to gaslight them. They're trying to make them think that their reality is not correct. Okay. So then what you do is you make the other person feel like they're crazy and instead of just acknowledging their feelings and you use their vulnerabilities against them because there is a benefit to you for doing that. You either are getting them to shut up or you're getting them to not even believe in their own reality because that's helping you win your case or whatever power struggle you're currently in. So that's a manipulation tactic that's used by both men and women. But ladies, I do want you to be more aware of this and more mindful of when a man is being authentic with you and honest, don't punish them even if they say something that you don't want to hear, because what you're doing is you're discouraging honesty. They're never going to want to tell you the truth about anything again if you punish them for their honesty. So don't ask a question you don't want a real answer for. And then when someone is honest, definitely the last thing you want to do is discourage that honesty by punishing them for their answer. I would strongly encourage you when your man, I'm talking to the ladies, when your man is being open with you and vulnerable, Embrace that, encourage it, cherish it, because that's how you get more of it is through positive reinforcement. If you're going to use that against them, don't you can't ever expect honesty anymore. So I hope that made sense to you guys, and I hope I cleared up what vulnerability really is. And I do appreciate all your comments, even the negative ones, because it really helped me gauge, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know really until you comment, till I get your feedback, like what are you guys thinking and feeling? So, or where you stand on this and what you know and don't know regarding um, the terminology that I'm using. So I appreciate all of that. It really opened my eyes to I need to do a better job at really defining terms. So therefore, there's not meanings attached that I didn't mean. So I hope that made sense and have a wonderful Sunday.